Yo, today I'm going to be talking about resin statues. In particular, I'm going to be talking about resin figures. If you know anything about resin statues slash figures, most of the time they're like basically Extreme figures, but like way more huger, like big, elaborate effect pieces and bases with about 2/3 base with like 1/3 figure. Today though, I wanted to be talking about figures because as of recently, there's been an upsurge about lewd, very lewd anime figures of licensed characters, and people are going nuts. This started about a couple of months ago, where I saw this Tifa figure where she was Jacko posed in front of Cloud's sword and his actual sword. Get your mind out of the gutter. Come on now. Look at his that's a big sword he's got there, man. God damn. I originally saw on favorite GK, but I can't find it anymore. So if I find it, I'm going to put a picture up. But yeah, it started with that, and about 2 weeks after that Tifa figure, there was a studio that made a lewd Eren figure where, like, I guess there's a part of the show where, like, he's standing in front of the mirror. I haven't been catching up with Attack on Titan, but goddamn, like, his dick's out. I don't want to know about it, but like, it's basically lewd Eren. A month later, there was a Inosuke figure with his dick out, and I thought that was interesting. And as of recently, there was a Gojo figure and actually an Eren and Armin figure as well. That's from my memory. What made me want to make this video is the fact that everybody and their mothers are talking about this Gojo figure where he's like, oh my god, he's fucking like, look at this man, he's so, oh my god, eyeballs, I am looking disrespectfully, and his dick's out. More importantly, I can suck him off at the fucking gym. Which I want to just talk about, like, this figure, if it wasn't gym related and the base wasn't like huge, like, it looks so, I don't know why it looks like that. It looks like one of those like museum podiums. Like, that's what these like figure bases reminded me of, and like that just like throws me off so much. But I understand why they went for it, because obviously, like, you put the mirror back and you can show his cheeks if he has his pants down and whatever, and blah blah blah. Anyway, I think that his face actually looks really good too, like compared to like official figures like the one made by Mega House and Bandai Spirits. Like, if you compare that with like his face right here, like, damn, shit, man, that's good. Resin figures are typically really huge. They're about the scale of like a 1/6 scale, and they can go up from there, typically going to like 1/4 and anything higher from that. And they're expensive. I think the Gojo one is about $350 right now on favorite GK, and they can be cheaper. The Marin figure that I'm using in the thumbnail is actually about $180 if you want her in the school uniform, and $10 less if you just want her naked. And then Yor has a deluxe version where it's about $479, but if you just want the normal version, it's about $279, I think, something like that. Don't quote me. But typically, resin figures are really expensive because they're very limited production. There's about 200 to 300, if not less. I think that's just because at the end of the day, these resin figures aren't official. They're not licensed, and I think there's some underlying way where you can make like a very limited production and still be okay. And also, these are typically made from very small studios, and they can't make a bunch of figures compared to say someone, say like Binding or Native, where they can pump out a bunch of lewd figures and they can be okay because they're all, you know, they're backed by big companies, so they can just make however money they want if they're that many pre-orders, compared to say a small studio that's just like banking off the fact that this Gojo is going to sell very well because he's got dicks out and you can suck him off at the gym. Apparently he also has a version where he has 2 dicks. You can do your own research. I'm just here to tell you about it, okay? I think the popularity or the viralness of these figures show off 2 things. People want figures of these characters. There's resin figures of Marin, Yor, Violet, and there's a lot of other characters that don't have a lot of figures, and these are gonna sell because, well, guess what? Like, you know, the only people who have a Marin out right now is Aniplex, and everyone else is still in prototyping phase, and Yor doesn't have that many figures out right now, or at least scales. And we all know that Freeing's going to take their sweet dwindling time making a bunny scale figures of both Marin and Yor, so the fact that these smaller studios can make these resin statues or resin figures in such a short amount of time, and they look pretty solid. Like this one where Marin's at the beach, like god damn. It's a little bit more subtle because I think there are a lot of companies that do want to make these figures of these characters. It's just that they don't have the licenses to them. That being said, Good Smiles does have an open Google form to submit what to have reruns of and what to have characters made into figures. And I feel like that like goes into nowhere because they'll just release another Miku and just call it a day. I'm just praying that some company out there picks up the licenses for Violet Evergarden and makes a Violet figure. Okay, that's just my biggest wish. Please, I want a figure of her like jumping across the water. Could you imagine how cool that would be? Eastream, hear me out, please. Like, you could price it at $500 and I pre-ordered 3 in an instant. Please. Lewd anime men figures obviously are always going to trend no matter what. Like, every time like there's a new resin figure, and it has always, like, no doubt you're gonna see at least 1 to 2 tweets about it. And it went trending with those Attack on Titan figures, and Gojo went trending about a week ago. So like, why not? It's a no-brainer. Like, of course everybody and the mothers want lewd anime men figures, but no company is making them. And the only figure company I can think of is like Native, but even then, like, Native is like 5% about like anime men and about like 95% anime titties. Yeah, I understand that it would be hard to get the licenses for like, say, like Attack on Titan or like JJK, for example, to have very lewd anime men figures of, say, like fucking, I don't know, Gojo sucking Sakuna's dick off or something like that. I don't think Mappa wants to give off the rights to JJK for that, unless Mappa really wanted to make a lot of money. So I mean, like, it's pretty easy if you ask me. But there's still like a lot of yaoi sources that you can make figures of, and you know, it's still endless. Like, the pool of anime men figures is endless, and just nobody wants to do it. So if these Resident Statues studios do it, then like, boom, like, there it is. Wow, amazing. And I'm sure in about like another month time, another studio is gonna make like, I don't know, a Tengen figure. Oh my god, imagine if like Tengen was like in his yukata like outfit, and like he was like laying down with his hair down, and like his like yukata was like parsed in a way to like show off his, yeah, you know, I'm just, hey, you know, Resin Statues, hit me up. I just gave you a good idea. You don't even have to pay me. I think that's just about all I wanted to talk about, because I saw nobody on YouTube was talking about it, so I might as well talk about it. And about a month time, that Tengen figure is going to come out, and then everybody and their mother's going to drop their fucking pants for his Tengen and drop their wallets. And hopefully official anime figure companies will start to realize that some of these characters, like, people do want these characters in these poses, or just like figures of these characters in general, and like they'll start making them, or we'll just have to just live with another Rem figure for another day. Great.